The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I'm going to tell you a story that I just heard yesterday. It's a mind-boggling story. I know several of the details of the story because I know that some of the people involved. It's a mind-boggling story. There's nothing else to be said. Mind-boggling story. There's a tzaddik of a yid. There's a tzaddik of a yid who lives in Lakewood. His name is Meyer Fischel. He lives, I believe, in the Ridge area. He is an Baal Chesed extraordinaire. He's a big Baal Tzedakah. He has a beautiful home. And his home, and he told me this himself, he made it beautiful because once a month, pretty much, he hosts a Shabbaton for severely, chronically ill children. How do I know? Because I was there a few times and I spoke for them. So I know it's true. He's an unbelievable Baal Chesed. Happens to be an extremely fine Talmid Chacham as well. Talked to him learning a few times. Very fine Talmid Chacham. A Tyre Yid. It's a very special Yid. And he hosts such a Shabbaton. And every once in a while, they ask the kids to speak. They may be ill. They may be confined to wheelchairs. They may have all kind of difficulty. But many of them had to say. They're very smart. A lot of very regular, intelligent children. They have what to say. So on one such a thing, they asked the boy to speak. The boy's name is Shalom Friedlander. I hope it's okay to use his name. The person in the story that went on the internet said the name, so I'm assuming it's okay to use the name. Severely ill child. I don't think he's bar mitzvah yet. I'm not sure. He might be. I'm not sure. A severely ill child. And they asked him to speak. And he said he wanted to speak. He had a story to tell. He said a number of years ago, he was approached, since he's an ill child, he's confined to a wheelchair. He was approached that there's a foundation called the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation helps chronically ill children make their dreams come true. And we know there are other organizations that work with them. I think Camp Simcha works with them. There are many organizations that work with them. So they asked him what he would like to do. So he filled out a whole form. And his wish is to meet with then President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. He wants to meet Donald Trump. Fine. Gives them the thing. They take every request very seriously over there. And they're a very powerful organization. And they tried to arrange to meet with President Trump. Now, I don't know the timing exactly, whether it's the first impeachment, the second impeachment, stop, not second impeachment, the first impeachment, whatever's going on was going on. And the White House came back, and they told him it's not possible. It's just not possible. It's not possible. It's not something that can happen. Okay. So they asked him, though, why does he want to meet the president? He said he wants to meet the president because there's a Yid whose name is Reb Shalom Mordechai Rubashkin. Oh, wow. And he was very unjustly given a terrible sentence of 27 years. And he's been in jail already for 7 years. And it's very unjust. And he wants to ask President Trump to pardon him. Now, just keep in mind, kids like this, who usually are confined to their wheelchairs, and therefore they don't have the ability to do the things that kids who are unencumbered can do. So therefore, I think the number one request to the Make-A-Wish Foundation usually is, what do you think? Number one, not from Jewish kids, all over the world. What do they ask for? Disney World, of course, Disney World. And they may close even the park and have a bunch of these kids that take over all the rides. I've seen videos of this, listen, it's a chesed, it's a chesed, it's a beautiful thing. But he wanted to do this, and he wanted to meet President Trump so he can ask him to pardon. So everyone was very mispoiled. So they said, you know what? They know that President Trump and Shalom Rubashkin share an attorney. His name is Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz was both the attorney for President Trump, and he took on Rubashkin's case pro bono, if you know. He did it for no charge. He felt it was a terrible injustice, right? So they go ahead and they write a letter. Now by this time, hundreds, if not thousands of letters were written. If I remember correctly, I think I also wrote a letter. I've been sometimes involved in writing letters on behalf of people who are sentenced or about to get sentenced. If I remember correctly, I think I also wrote a letter. I've written so many I don't remember anymore. I think I wrote one for him as well. And there's an organization called the Aleph Foundation, and they are very, very strong ties to Chabad, and they work to get prisoners out of prison and to get people lighter sentences. A very large organization, very significant. Rabbi Lipsker from the shul in Miami is the person who runs it. Mamish, he's a malach. He works in this day and night to try it. It's a real pigeon shvuyim organization. If to get them kosher food and to get them sfarim, all this, the Aleph Foundation is very big. Aleph Foundation by this time had generated thousands of letters, but Trump's advisors did not feel it was the right time or whatever it was, and they said no. They said no. So they write this letter to Alan Dershowitz, and the mother writes the letter. I may be stretching one or two aspects of the story a little bit. You forgive me that I don't have maybe 1,000% accurate. But to make a long story short, Dershowitz gets this letter. And it's from his mother, for the boy's mother. He says, my son, this and that. He wants to see the president. This is why I want to see the president. Maybe there's something he could do. So Dershowitz says, he wants to see the president, and the reason is to get Rubashkin out. Let him write a letter in his own words and get it to me. And I'll make sure the president sees it. And so that's exactly what happened. He says, my name is so-and-so, and I'm, I think maybe 15 years old, and I've been confined to a wheelchair my whole life, and I don't know if you wrote about his prognosis or not, I have no idea. And this is what I really, really want. I wrote the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They didn't accept it. Maybe there's something you could do. And he writes because he wants Rubashkin released, and that's the most important thing to him. The letter goes to Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz has a meeting with President Trump right then, maybe a day later. And he goes into the president, and he takes the letter, puts it down in front of the president, and he says, Mr. President, please read this letter. And the way it was described is, the president took the letter, and he starts crying copious tears. And the next day he wrote the pardon. Wow. The next day was Eis Chanukah, he wrote the pardon. Listen, the story's not over. Rabbi Lefkowitz, who's a noted Rav here in Lakewood, was at this Shabbaton at Motzei Shabbos. And he walked over to Shalom, and he said to him, tell me, why taka of all the things in the world is this what you asked for? Why dafka this? Listen to what the boy said. He said, I am confined to a wheelchair, and therefore I must come on to the assistance and aid of other people who help me all the time. It's kamat not possible for me to give ever. When I was given the offer of something, anything I could want in life, I realized this was my chance to give to someone else. And therefore, he took his one shot and he gave it to Shalom Mordechai Rubashkin. And the way the person told the story said, and that is why Shalom Rubashkin, the day evening he came out of jail, he went straight to Borough Park. The first home that he went to was Shalom Friedlander's house to thank him.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org